Hi guys, and welcome to episode 3 of the Took South Jim Green collab. So far, our fine amphibian friend has dragged us across the roof of Table Mountain, through the depths of Newlands Forest, and maybe even to the pub for a sleepy pint. But for those of you that don't know yet, this proudly South African company has been shipping boots across the continent to donate them to the frontline troops of conservation, Africa's wildlife rangers, while we drove 2 tuk-tuks across the African continent to raise money to buy boots for Africa's wildlife rangers. I think you can see why we like that musket-totting, top-hat-wearing little frog.
So my name is Gareth Crouch, and I'm a 3rd generation shoemaker at Jim Green Footwear. Yeah, so Jim Green Footwear was founded in 1992. Our boots are 100% made in South Africa, so every single shoe is made under one roof. Not only that, but all our raw materials are locally sourced as well. You know, in the economy with, I think it's about 35% unemployment rate, it's really important for us to support our local people and economy. So we thought, you know, we're making the same boots all day, every day. We've got to test these boots, the longevity of them. And there was no better way to do it than by putting it onto the heroes that are protecting our natural areas. The guys that are walking, you know, 10 to 15 miles a day. The most important things to them doing their job is their equipment. You know, ranger morale is really important to them doing their job, and it all starts with them being comfortable. I think conservation, there's just so many different areas that one can you know, touch on. You know, you've got the big stuff like the elephants right down to, you know, the different grass species, and they all play a crucial role bringing the whole ecosystem together. So I think if everyone does their part, in our case, you know, doing the boots and making sure the guys are comfortable and this is safe doing their job, then you know, I think it takes a little bit of effort from everyone.
We take a deep dive into what the elite world of rangers actually looks like. This isn't just flashy camouflage and polished weapons. This is the SEAM team.
We are in Simonstown. We're about to go and film the penguin unit here. All of the Marine Rangers meeting with Dr. Allison Cock, who is a shark penguin conservation specialist. She's over there.
So I'm Dr. Allison Cock, and I'm a marine biologist for the South African National Parks. So from a marine perspective, we've got a very large marine protected area around this peninsula. There's nowhere else in the world that you can actually experience something like an iconic African penguin in a space like this, with a setting like this, where you've got incredible kelp forests. You know, if we overlook this area here, there's an incredible diversity of life just under the surface here, and what really makes this place special is this connectivity between the ocean, the coast and the land.
Abalone poaching is a serious threat to the environment. So what is abalone? It's a marine mollusk, one of the most expensive shellfish. One abalone in a Chinese restaurant can fetch up to $150. These high prices have led to criminal syndicates becoming involved in the poaching and smuggling of abalone.
Yes, so the abalone have declined so much because of the demand for this species. This special unit has now been given the training, the skills to try and address these bigger challenges, you know, where often their lives are in danger. You know, their lives are in danger to protect what we have. The guys working on the ground, the girls working on the ground, they really have the tough job. They are the ones that need to respond immediately. They are the ones that need to be there.
So you'll find these shark shells laying around, and they're quite small, as you can see. The size is like smaller than the palm of my hand. So they would usually poach in areas where you could see there's a lot of kelp, and then they'd come to shore. You'll find like little middens of shark shells. Then they take the meat out, bag it, and then they'll leave the area. So as we'll patrol, we'll find this evidence laying around, and then we know, okay, this area, especially if you see fresh ones. Our daily task is basically to do a lot of intel gathering, sending out our teams to basically walk the area, patrol within the area, try and be visible.
It's difficult. I enjoy it when we do the extended deployments, like being out camping in the veld. That's something I personally enjoy. The conditions are challenging. Trying to maneuver through this terrain with all that equipment and all those items that you need to take with you when you deploy, it is challenging, and it takes a lot out of you. But it's something that you need to have a passion for. Because if you don't have that passion, you won't be able to pick up the 3 bags, 4 bags, and go up to the mountain and camp out. Anywhere from 2 days up to 14 days. It depends on the extent of the operation.
And since joining the SEAM team, it's an amazing experience. It was a tough time. It was a mental challenge for myself. Even though I regard myself as a strong and physique person, but mentally, physically you feel strong, but mentally that's where you may crack.
There are a few challenges unique to the sort of conservation protected area setting. Table Mountain National Park has hundreds of different entry points into the park. Anyone can walk from the road up into the mountain. So having that porous boundary between the conservation space versus a social space is very challenging. That makes doing law enforcement and preventing crimes from taking place incredibly complicated, and the premise of this team is to being able to deal with those complexities in a more strategic and guided manner. The foundation of the team is set out such that we can deploy from helicopter, we can deploy from a vessel, or we can deploy on land by vehicle. There is a high level of threat against a ranger of this level. There are criminal elements included in the poaching syndicates. It's not limited to the natural resource, but some of these syndicates deal with drugs, human trafficking, and those sorts of things.
Pump now, because you must look now for the person. You don't know where the person is, you don't know what the person is carrying, you see. These guys sometimes they carry big knives. Those guys can come, hit you with a thingy. Your life is also in danger. It's almost close to being a soldier, being a SEAM team. It's almost close to being a soldier.
The SEAM team are not alone. They have canine compadres. Other than being very good boys, these dogs are crucial in giving the rangers an advantage against the poachers. This team has 6 fully trained canines and handlers to help on patrol and in picking up the scent of poachers.
But sometimes also helpmen with the dogs, they make it much more easier. Because the dogs can sniff and they can alert you if you can read the body language of a dog. Like you can know when your dog is close to the suspect. Because my dog, I know when it's close to the suspect, the head goes up, the ears go so, eyes open a bit, and then you focus on the suspect, on the target. Then I know my dog is sensing something close. Sometimes they vanish, you can't see them, but the dog is gonna show you exactly where they went. Even if you can't see with your eyes, but the dog can sniff it, can detect where the guys went. It makes the job easier.
This team makes huge sacrifices to protect the natural world.
Sacrifice a lot of time that we can spend with our families. A lot of us have kids and wives and husbands that know the sacrifice, and a lot of the work of looking after the kids and the family at home falls on them because of the amount of time we spend in field.
Yeah, the biggest sacrifice for myself was time away from family or home. The biggest challenge, like we were saying now, the big bad wolf type of thing, is going back to your own community. And people have this anger in their eyes and in their hearts just for the uniform that you wear. It's not easy to even live in a community like that. A lot of your friends that you grew up with, making a living from the ocean. Personally, yes, I've had threats. I've been confronted many times before. They took out knives, pushed me in a corner. There were a group of them. And it's like, they can take your life now. What are you going to do?
So that's the main issue and the main challenge also when you do encounter locals. Yeah, it could be your family member, it could be your neighbor, it could be the brethren in your church. You see, so you might enforce the law, but back in that person's mind is planning against you.
Abalone is a complex issue. There is a high unemployment rate in South Africa, and the poachers come from underprivileged backgrounds. They often turn to poaching as a last resort to survive and feed their families. The syndicates take advantage, often paying in drugs rather than money.
The criminal syndicates that work within the area, it does not only affect the environment, it actually is linked to drug syndicates as well. And when you look further into it, you'll find that these people take advantage of the poor in our community. And these drugs end up on our streets eventually. So what happens is that the syndicates will work with people that are underprivileged and are basically desperate, and have them do the dirty work. They get paid with drugs. So basically, I'll give you some abalone and you give me drugs in return, and that's how the drugs land up in our streets. So we're not only just fighting and trying to save the abalone, which is greatly diminished in this area, we're also trying to protect our people as well. For us, it's a catch-22 because you feel sorry for the people that you're bringing in, but you're also trying to protect what little we have left.
So, going forward, what can be done to solve these complex problems?
I think what we're doing right now is achieving what we're setting out to do. But if we're going to expand beyond that and to really have an impact on the conservation landscape and seascape, we have to look at ways in which we can incorporate local communities into these conservation programs. So job development, meaningful job development, not entry-level minimum wage jobs that keep someone in poverty. Something that allows someone to take on this custodian role that we've taken on as our vocation, that adds to their personal health and well-being, to their family, and to help them reintegrate with the natural environment. We find so many people disconnected from nature, and it's sort of this foreign concept of, well, every Sunday we go and have a picnic in the park, and not really seen as, oh my gosh, look at this majestic mountain that I'm staring at right now. This is a part of your natural heritage. And we need to get to a space in South Africa where the role of protected areas is integrated into society in a meaningful way and not just a tick box exercise or lip service.
It's important that we all think about our natural world and take any steps that we can to try and preserve it. It is truly commendable what these rangers do, and we feel honoured to have been able to spend time with them. We'd also like to take this moment to thank Jim Green for supporting these rangers, and we would like to encourage other companies and people to take a similar pathway to try and exist in synergy with the natural world. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. What an honour it has been to shadow the shadowless as they quietly protect this natural wonder. It's been wild, but this is not the end of our story. That's right, if you're keen for an adventure, then follow along at Tuk South as we take our tuk-tuks across this ocean to South America. We will continue to represent Africa's wildlife rangers, and we will take our little ranger boots along for the ride. They should be able to survive anything that we can throw at them on the South American continent. Well, if you want to find out if they're up to the task, or if you just want to see what South America by tuk-tuk looks like, then stay tuned as we take Jim Green to the new world. Cheers, and stay frosty, folks.